Hello, everyone. Amy here, Friday night, and we had more snow. I don't know if you could tell. More snow on top of the snow we already had. Had to shovel again, but this time there wasn't like 2 layers of ice, so that's good. But yeah, more snow, and we're supposed to get some freezing drizzle tonight. It's like right under freezing right now. We had the sun come out, so it melted a lot of um, well, it melted. It didn't melt a lot, but it melted some things. And like I cleaned up my car and it melted a lot of the extra stuff off the car that was still hanging around and some parts of the driveway. But yeah, we're right below freezing and it's supposed to drop all the way down to 10 degrees tonight, which, ugh. I'm really tired of the cold weather. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to worry about that anymore for a couple days at least, but it is winter, so what can you do? But hello, it's that time of day at dusk when I get that melancholy because I have that seasonal depression disorder. I've always had it. I've always had it, even as a kid. I had it. I didn't know what it was until someone told me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have that." I remember my aunt. We had gone to look at right around. I don't know. It must have been before daylight savings time. I don't know. Maybe it was November. I don't know. But I remember we went to the plaza in Kansas City and we all walked around, my aunt, my cousins, my mother, and my brother, sister, and I, and we all walked around the plaza and looked at the shop windows because they would have these sort of animatronic Christmas displays that were really pretty, really beautiful. I don't even know if they have them anymore because I haven't seen it in a while. But as we were driving away from the plaza, she said, "Oh, here we go. It's going to be dark at 5 o'clock. It's that time of year when it's dark at 5 o'clock." And that feeling of my heart dropping into the pit of my stomach, or my soul just falling like a deflated balloon. It's a really hard thing to explain, but if you have it, you know what I'm talking about. Dusk is so beautiful, especially in winter with the snow, the blue sky, and the stars are out, and the snow is often sort of like a bluish um, reflection, and it's really beautiful. But and the sunsets are beautiful. But I always get that horrible feeling of dread. And I've been at the museum with my daughter, and there's this painting of dusk, wintry dusk. And every time I see it, it could be summertime, it could be the height of summer, like July, mid July, and I'll see it and I'll go, oh, there's that feeling. And here we are. In fact, in the movie A Christmas Story, the first time I saw that movie, and they're walking home from school, and they played portions of Groff, isn't it Groff's Grand Canyon Suite, which I love that piece of music, that whole piece of music. And da 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 da. It's based off of the Grand Canyon Suite when he's on his horse or camel, and they're literally traversing across the Grand Canyon Suite, and they go through like a storm, and then the sun comes out, and there's beautiful sunlight on the screen. You hear that when they show the ice on Christmas morning, but that da da. That drop of emotion and sort of sarcasm and there's another word I want to call it. It's that same feeling I get when I hear the Monkees. Let a sleepy Gino, what can it mean to Daydream Believer? And there's pieces in there where the horns do that sort of melancholy thing. Anyway, that's a long explanation for dusk, but dusk does something to me. It's beautiful. I love it. It's very poetic, but I always get this sinking feeling in me, like a zeppelin falling out of the sky slowly, and you just go, ugh, oh, it's going to be dark soon, and I'm so depressed. But I don't like it in the summer, in the August, when it's super, super bright for weeks on end, and you just want to hide somewhere and go, get the sun off me. It's too hot. It's too bright. Anyway, that's a long story. Today, maybe that relates to what we're feeling today, that feeling of sinking because 45 gets sentenced. I mean, he was already sentenced as a 34 convicted felon, right? 34 counts because he did 34 counts of crime, signing checks that he wasn't supposed to sign. 34 counts, convicted felon, but today he got sentenced. But technically, not really sentenced to anything, just legality, you're sentenced. But like I said, it's a scratch on his Teflon. It does count. I know it feels like nothing happened, and we all had that feeling today again that we get over and over again with him of not again. He got away with it again. And what about us? What about, and it's, you want to cry and you want to scream and you want to hit stuff and like, why isn't he being held accountable? That's a really good question. It really is. Again, is it our lesson to learn? Like, okay, here's the thing. So I know how you feel. I feel the same way. It is a scratch on his Teflon, but I know how you feel. But here's the thing, like, if you're like me, you were the kid who grew up and you were taught in school, or you were taught by your parents or whoever, that you didn't cut in line. That when it was time, let's say it's you're in your homeroom and you're, let's say it's fourth grade, it's homeroom, and your teacher had taught you all the students, to get in line for lunch. You get in line in the classroom, and then you line up in the hall and you all march down to the lunchroom. Single file, no cutting in line. And there's always that one kid, right? There's that kid in your class, maybe they were hyperactive, whatever, maybe they had their reasons, but, and sometimes they did have it, maybe it was the class bully, and, because there's always one, and they cut in line, and they cut in front of you. Not only do they cut in line, they cut in front of you, and you just like, inside you're seething, you know, teacher, and you know, if you do that, you know, if you go, teacher, they cut in line again, then you're going to be ostracized by everyone and called a snitch, and then they're going to torture you. The bully or whoever is going to torture you for telling on them, because now you're a tattletale. And you're like, why isn't the teacher seeing this? Why doesn't the teacher do anything? And it's because the teacher's too busy. But you can't do anything about it unless you go, hey, you little jerk. I saw you cut in line again. If you do that again, I'm going to rip your shirt off, or I'm going to rip up your term paper, or whatever the heck. I'm going to rip up your paper about Spot the dog. And they just laugh in your face. That's how we feel. We're the ones who stood in line when we were told to. We still stand in line at the grocery store. We follow traffic laws. We try to pay our bills. Sometimes that's not easy. Pay taxes, file taxes, all these things. We try to do the right thing. And not only that, but we try to be kind to others. We try to empathize with others and show compassion and try to be good citizens, all for the benefit of having a country where we are treated in kind, where things run in a specific order so that it's not chaos. But meanwhile, you have Mr. A-hole, Frump, who doesn't care. And not only does he not care, but he's getting away with it. Again, the teacher's too busy. The principal doesn't care. He doesn't want to see Frump in his office again. He's already dealt with him and can't, because the parents won't talk to him. There's nothing to be done. So it's up to you, right? And that's not fair. That is not fair for American citizens to have to deal with it. We voted. We voted him out. It's none of this is fair. And we know he didn't win for entertainment purposes only. None of this is fair. And that's why we're so upset again and again and again for the jerk, the class jerk, to do this to us again. Orange felon did it to us again. But I swear to you that he does have a scratch on his Teflon now. And today did matter. It mattered in the spiritual world. It mattered in the world of truth, because we run by truth and free will. It mattered because even in his addled brain, his drugged up brain for entertainment, you know, whatever, entertainment purposes only, but we all know he's all drugged up. Just like Leon is with the ketamine and all that stuff. For entertainment purposes only. As if it isn't obvious. But somewhere in there he knows. Somewhere in there he knows. And that, let's just say that that's a win. We'll take the L right now for that. Somewhere in there he knows. And he also knows that Kamala won. Kamala won. Blech, Kamala won. Now, the funeral, Jimmy Carter's funeral, which was so beautiful. Garth Brooks, Trisha Yearwood sang Imagine by John Lennon. You know, I love that. And Garth Brooks is a man of light. He reminds me so much of John McCain. And the whole funeral was kind of an example of, here's a good man. Here's an example of a good man, of a good human being, which we should all try to be, especially in positions of power. They were all saying that verbatim. President Biden said that straight to Trump's face. And poor Obama, and by the way, Michelle didn't show up. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. But Obama had to sit next to him. The guy who is vilified him, tried to get him out of office for his 2 terms, and vilified him to the point where people were ready to burn him to the ground. But Obama is strong enough to deal with that. Now, Kamala was in the front row because she's VP currently with Doug, her husband, and the look, I know you guys all saw the video where she looked to him for, he was protecting her. Doug was protecting her. And she looked up at him. He kind of touched her hand, was like, you okay? And she looked up at him, and they had that silent communication. And she's like, yes. And he's like, I'm here for you. And she's like, I know, and I love you. And it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful, and such a contrast to Orange Felon and Melania. But it's so beautiful. And also all of us were like, damn, we want her as our president. Damn, she's so beautiful and so gracious and so smart and so strong. And why can't we have her as our president? We voted, we did everything we could. We literally fought the demons of the universe, and we're still having to fight. And it's not fair. Again, it's not fair. And I can't guarantee that it's ever going to be righted anytime soon. I think it should be. It should be. But, you know, we still have to put up this damn fight. Us light workers still have to do this. We all have to do this because he's just that much of a jerk. Just remember that. Every time you say, why is he still here? Why are we still dealing with this? Because he's that much of a jerk. And if you think we don't like him here on earth, how do you think the spiritual realm feels about him? No, they're not all up there going, oh, but we forgive him. We forgive him. No, he's causing pain to them because he's causing pain to us. He caused massive pain to kids that he put in cages and ripped away from their parents at the beginning of his term. Remember that? That caused, the angels were in despair. He causes massive pain to the earth and animals, and every animal in the spiritual realm is accounted for. Their pain causes the angelic realm and the spiritual realm and the divine pain. They do not like Trump. They don't hate him because we don't hate, right? We don't hate. But they don't like him. And if you think we don't like them, they really don't like him because they see everything. They know everything that he's done and is doing and all his intentions. Anyway, he's the one that has to sit there. And did you see how he stared at Kamala? And he kept giving her looks like, look at me, bitch. Look at me. Acknowledge me. And she's like, I ain't gonna look at you, you mother effing demon. I'm not because he's a narcissist. And why would you want to look at a narcissist? You don't want to be anywhere near them. You don't want to hear them. You don't want to feel their energy. You don't want to look at them. No engagement. But he was like, look at me. And that's a narcissistic thing to do. She's his victim. He got one over on her with the November 5th with Leon stealing things. And he feels like she is his current victim. He's really obsessed with her. And by the way, she's extremely beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. He thinks he owns her. He got one over on her. He made her his current victim. And he was trying to feed off her energy of despair and sadness and anger and reaction. And he kept staring at her. That's my victim. That's my victim. And she was like, I ain't having any of it. I'm not looking at you. I'm not acknowledging you. It'd be like it really is like looking at your abuser after you've gotten away and being forced to look at them, which, how can any of us do that? So anyway, kudos to her, and kudos to Obama, and kudos to all of them. And then the Carter Family Foundation, I guess, took a picture of the entire group and conveniently cut out 45 because I think we all know why they did that. So forevermore, he won't mar the event. Now Melania, she was there and they took a video of her in like a close-up and she was miserable. And it's like, why are you miserable? You live in this mansion, you got all this money and yada yada yada. You seem happy. You've never spoken out about how bad we think it might be in your situation. You've never asked for sympathy. In fact, you've never given sympathy to others. So why are you upset? Why are you upset? Maybe she was upset because she saw how happy Kamala and Doug were. Maybe she's upset because she felt guilty that the election was taken for entertainment purposes only from Kamala. Nah, I don't think she has that capability. I think she was upset because they didn't acknowledge her because of the association she has with 45, which is a really nasty energy. And she was like, oh no, they do not acknowledge me. They be mean to me. Oh, that's not fair. Yeah, well, I don't care. Do you? What is that jacket she wore? She said, I don't care, do you? Or something like that. I do care. I actually do care. But you know what? She's had many times where she could have said, I'm miserable. I feel abused. I was pushed into this marriage. At first, I was in a sex trade and I didn't have options. I didn't have confidence in myself. I was in a really bad situation. I wasn't in the right mind. I was pushed into it by my parents and because of financial reasons and other reasons. And now I'm trapped and I don't know how. I would have so much compassion for her. But instead, she keeps riding the golden idol. The thing about it, whatever. And she, no things, no visuals. She's in it, the money, and that's greed. And I don't know. I want to feel bad for her, but I don't. I want her to speak out and say, this is hell, and he is horrible, and blah, blah, blah. Here's all the stuff he says and does about other people, and he's just a monster. But instead, the money keeps her silenced and keeps her chained to him. And that's about all I'm going to say because, oh yeah, let's talk about real quick. See, I tried to upload a video earlier and YouTube was like, nope. And I'm starting to think that that's going to happen more and more to us. As we speak out the truth, we're going to get blocked. Our videos aren't going to be uploaded. We're going to have trouble. Look at how they're trying to take away TikTok. And now, okay, so Frump didn't do it, right? So Kevin O'Leary, who's friends and supports Frump, he says, I'll do it. Well, Trump's pretty much, TikTok's pretty much just going to die. It'll come back in a different platform, but so they're killing that. And then Mark Zuckerberg is essentially killing off Threads and Meta, Facebook, Instagram. So they're literally pushing people with voices of consciousness, of good conscience, pushing us into a corner and saying, oh, we took away all your venues. Well, no, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. We'll make a MySpace, or hell, if we have to go to Club Penguin again, we'll do that. We'll find a way. Anyway, to end this, I want to say that, so we had the hearing today and the quote unquote sentencing, which, you know, it was the right thing to do, but it just wasn't done the way it should have been. Now, so Merrick Garland says, oh, I'm the good cop, and I told Eileen Cannon that we will release the documents, but only part one, and part two will be redacted. That's the part where all the bad stuff is in that you know, nobody knows about. That would be really revealing of Trump's horrible crimes against America. Of that put us in danger. They knew that he did it. It was very obvious. He had accomplices, etc., etc. We won't let you hear that. It is Bill Barr Part 2. If you remember, Bill Barr released the heavily redacted Mueller report on a Sunday afternoon. I remember I was in the museum that day and how heartbroken I opened up my phone. I was like, oh my God. They released it, but they took out all the information. We got. Bill Barr got us. Well, Merrick Garland is playing Bill Barr Part 2. Now, just like Bill Barr with the Mueller report, it was supposed to be, part of it would be released on a Friday, but it was the Sunday when the heavily redacted portions were released. I remember I had such bad feelings about that whole week. I knew that Trump had already seen the report and knew the incriminating evidence, and he used Bill Barr to take out and redact all the evidence. And then he said, oh, it's okay, you can release it. I have nothing to hide. So a Friday, here it is. Here's the Mueller report. Oh, wait, but wait till Sunday. And then that Sunday, oh, here's the final report. Blacked out completely. So we'll never know. We never got to know. That's going to happen again. Merrick Garland is playing good cop, bad cop with Eileen Cannon. And the only good thing I could say is that at least it is being released, but like the Mueller report, of what consequence, right? it's still more of the same. And, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, three times, shame on me. How many times are we going to listen to and believe uh, Merrick Garland? Now, I pray that I'm wrong about Merrick. I say that every time. I pray I'm wrong about him. Prove me right. Prove me right. Now, the last thing is Fani Willis is fighting to stay and repealing, or whatever you call it, appealing that she was removed from the Georgia case. And I think she'll get back on. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. None of this is over yet. Now, remember, now that 45 is a sentenced, solidified, convicted felon, how is he really supposed to be inaugurated? There's some states he may not be able to go to. There's many events he won't be able to go to. There's countries he can't go to. So, I don't know. I think it did more harm than you can imagine. And I'll leave it at that. I don't know if this is going to upload. Thanks for listening, you guys. Have a great night. Remember to pray. And the people in the fires, we pray for everyone in California. I know I had a bad feeling. Here's the thing. It was early in the week. They said there's going to be strong winds in California and Las Vegas. And I thought, well, that's not good. That's not good for wildfires. And then right after that, it was like the report hours later. Oh, there's fire. And I remember thinking, I bet you some a-hole started fires on purpose. Like, that's what always happens. They have an arsonist. It's not like this hasn't happened before. I don't like to talk about it. I didn't want to say it because I thought that's not the time. It's really not the time ever. I just feel for everyone, rich or poor, famous or not famous. I don't care. I feel bad for all of them, and this should never happen. We should care about the people, the animals, the earth, the wildlife. It's just so sad, and we need to it's not, it is an arid zone. It's a dry, there's desert areas. We need to care about the earth. We need to care about the earth. We need to stop playing foolish. Yes, I feel like someone did this on purpose for whatever reason, but that doesn't matter. What we should care about and actively do is work on helping this planet. We should never leave this planet in worse shape than when we come to it. We are part of the earth. We are. Like I said, some people think they're out of God's ass. They think they're so special. And but no, we're all dirt. We're all earth. We're all mammals and marsupials, and our animal spirit guides come with us from beyond, and we're all in nature, and the trees, they all have voices, they all have energy, they all have spirit. We're all together. We need to go back and be like the indigenous, the Native Americans, where we actually literally work with and care about the earth, because we are the earth and we're only temporarily here. If we start caring about how we take care of this planet, I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee anything, but it would put out the message of healing. And let's go back to the pandemic when we had the shutdowns. They said that the greenhouse, what do we call it? The greenhouse, the hot gases or whatever that ruin the ozone, they were like healed. Do you remember that? They said because everybody wasn't driving their car everywhere and we had less human footprint. We clearly have effect on the earth with our overpopulation and cars and houses and electricity and oil and all these things. We do have ways to fix this. We're just not doing it. And I don't know, I'll get off my soapbox. But we can fix this. We can. Anyway, I'll shut up. I just pray for them. I pray for them in California and anyone. I think of wildlife too. It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. Thanks for listening, guys. Keep the faith. Pray. Know that we're not alone. Know that you are loved. You do have a spirit team, an angelic team. You're not alone. And thanks for listening. Have a great night. Happy Friday. Bye.